Oh my God. Yes. I'm like, okay, all right. Let's see where this is going to
Yeah.
go.
So high, and I was making love with myself through my breath. That felt like a big tingle through my whole body. Jeez, I like that. I want more of that.
Use your breath to slow down and feel.
Before we're going to get into this episode, make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And today, I've got a beautiful guest speaker with me, Sara Silverstein, and she is a certified somatic sexologist and therapeutic yoni massage facilitator who empowers women and vulva havers to explore their sensuality and discover what brings them pleasure and joy. So through somatic practices like breathwork, yoni mapping, and sensual movement, she guides individuals to reconnect to their bodies, release sexual shame, and embrace intimacy with confidence, which is such an important work. So her transformative work fosters self-love, deeper communication, and a fulfilling relationship with pleasure. Ah, my jam. Welcome to the podcast.
So excited. I have such a crush on you.
Same.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like when you asked me, I wish you had seen me. I was like so red. I was like, oh my God, wait, what? Yes.
I'm usually asking every guest speaker a couple questions just so we can get to know you in regards to like self-love and pleasure. Where are you currently at on your self-love and pleasure journey, and what brings you the most pleasure?
I am so proud to be able to say that I am so deeply connected to my self-pleasure, my partnered pleasure. As somebody who faked pleasure for a very long time, it is major that I can say this. And the thing I'm most proud about is that I can communicate what I want when I want it.
I love that, and I can relate to that.
And I totally blanked on anything else that you asked.
What brings you the most pleasure?
Oh, I am in this like moment of skin on skin contact where it is everything. I just celebrated an anniversary with my husband and we had a week in the woods together, and I could not get his clothes off enough to just put his skin on my skin to be like, oh, like not even in like an intimate sexual way, just in like, I need to feel you. And it brings such a full body, like rush of the feel goods that I'm like, ugh, yes, please.
Oh, I love that. The first time I saw you, I think, was within the course that I've done when I studied the somatic sex coaching course from Kiki, Unilicious. And you did a course, I think a section on breathgasm or orgasmic breathing for vulva havers, for penis havers. I think there was a difference. And then I seek you out. I'm like, oh my God, I need to know more. And I actually asked you about the certificate, the breathwork certificate. And I went with something different then because something else came up. But I knew I wanted to talk to you about breath and pleasure. So how to use your breath, how you can use it to deepen your self-love, for your pleasure. So I think this is such a good topic for this podcast episode. And also because I've just come back from a Tantra festival, and the last workshop that I've done on the Sunday morning to leave the Tantra festival was a pleasure breathwork workshop. So, it was like a clearing meditation, but then also claiming my pleasure and taking that pleasure with me when I leave that festival now. And I just felt so high, and I was making love with myself through my breath and slight touch. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so good. So
Yes. I am so happy you got to have that experience, because I feel like there are a lot of humans who would be like, oh, well, that's not really a thing. And I am in America where there is just so much judgment around pleasure and how we get to feel it. And breathgasm was birthed in Bali when Kiki and I were there together. So when I moved back to the States, and I have hosted it a couple of times here, people are like, that's made up. That's not a thing. What? No. And I'm like, no, guys, I promise you, like, your breath is magic.
So can you a little bit explain to like, how did you find breath work? How did you connect it to your pleasure? And what is breathgasm, or how can you like, what can you do with the breath to actually experience more pleasure?
I mean, the breath
questions.
is everything. I have been a breathwork facilitator for 8-ish years. Time is
Wow.
weird. I originally got into the modality because I was working with my first ever coach, who was just a transformational coach. Her name is Dana Balicki. I'm obsessed with her. And she had suggested that I try breathwork because I had a lot of big feelings, a lot of kind of stuck energy in my body. And she's like, I think this might be helpful. And for whatever reason, I think it took me like a month to actually process it and then sign up for a class. And it was in that first session where my entire world expanded, because it was almost like the walls that I had built up around me to keep me safe had come down in a way that felt okay for my body. And I had this like huge crying experience. And at this rate, geez, I was in corporate America, high finance. I wore suits all the time. I was a very different human, and I had not really felt into emotions really. So for me to be able to be laying on the floor in someone's living room, sobbing hysterically, feeling like my body was full of this energy, I was like, okay, what's happened? Like, what's going on here? I got sober when I was 22, and at this rate, I think I was probably 6 or 7 years sober. And I was like, what are these feelings? I feel like I'm on drugs. Like, is this okay? What's happened? And I, then became a nerd about it. And I was like, I need to start to understand what's happening here. And I started going to classes all the time, working with my teacher one-on-one. And it was almost like between talk therapy and then breath work as a somatic modality coming together, it was like the puzzle pieces of my life were coming together. And I had an opportunity to kind of refeel into different experiences, let go of those experiences, and then create these almost like pockets for goodness to come. And it was almost like I had an opportunity to learn about myself for the first time. And I was like, okay, I need more of this in my life. I never planned on being a facilitator of this, but a bunch of people are like, when are you going to go to training? You should be a teacher of this. And I'm like, I come from nothing. I am in finance. I make more money than I've ever made in my life. Why would I ever do anything else? And for whatever reason, I had like a spare $500 and I was like, let's see what this training is about. And it changed everything. The
Oh,
training itself it was wild. It was like very spiritual, which I 1000% was not. I did not feel like I belonged, but I did believe in the power of the breath. And I happened to book a client the same night that we graduated, because I'm an all in kind of gal. I was like, I need to know if I'm good at this or not. Like, if this feels good, then I'll continue. And if it doesn't, then I know, okay, we just bench that and we find something else. And instead, I had a beautiful session with a female friend of mine who experienced relief from chronic pain for the first time in 7 years. Oh, I could cry now.
wow.
And it was in that moment that I got to see it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with our own internal power and understanding that our breath can move mountains, and it can heal things. It can heighten pleasure. It can heighten joy. It can allow you to feel calm and relaxed. Like, there's so many different ways that you can use your breath to manipulate your nervous system to feel different things. And it's catapulted my life to being into an entrepreneur. I've worked for myself for the last 7 or 8 years, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
I love that. Such a transformation. I've actually worked in a bank. That was my first job. As a finance a management assistant and wearing suits as well. So to now, I'm just like, this is so different. And I was definitely not in my body there back then either. So,
Yeah.
but I know I've realized how important the breath is when I did my yoga teacher training. And that's when I realized how much it really affects. And I've actually got like the breathing sign symbol on tattooed on me, because just to remind myself again and again how important it is to take a deep breath and to actually really focus on like, how are you breathing? Because it can tell you so much. But when I usually talk about breath work, people usually combine this with like, oh yeah, that's just some spiritual stuff. And you just like, well, you need it because you want to like calm yourself down. But they're not actually combining that with pleasure. So
Yeah.
can you a little bit explain how it can help in pleasure, to experience more pleasure and pleasuregasm?
Yes. So I had briefly mentioned that I had fake pleasure for a long time. And I left my job. I traveled the world teaching breathwork, which was so magical. I ended up living in Bali for many years, and that is where I met Kiki, our teacher. And I would teach these large groups every Friday. There was about 50 people there.
Wow.
And women would come up to me afterwards and they would say, I had an orgasm, I think. Is that okay? And meanwhile, I'm still struggling to feel orgasmic pleasure. And I'm like, you're questioning this? You're not just celebrating this? Like, what are you talking about? And at this rate, I hadn't started my studies yet. So I went to Kiki and I was like, girls are saying this. Like, can we have a conversation? Like, what's happening here? And she was like, yeah, of course this is possible. And I was like, oh, okay. And so that began my endeavor into starting to study and understand how our breath can impact the way that we feel pleasure. And so we played with many different breath experiences, right? And at this rate, Kiki had a lot more knowledge in this realm than I did, but I was on my own endeavor to see like, okay, if this can happen for others, then perhaps it can happen for myself. And I'm grateful that I'm just a human who's like, explore, see what can happen. But if we're thinking about using our breath, if we are taking a big slow inhale and allowing your lungs to expand all the way, and even if you want to exhale out through your mouth and just feel your body kind of settle, like even as I talk about that, I feel good, right? And for us who are constantly doing a million things, or we're on our phones or laptops or running around, like we're in our we're in our sympathetic nervous system, which is this response of where we need to be alert. And when we start to slow that breath down, it's almost like the body starts to relax a little bit more. And we get to shift into this different side of the nervous system where we can start to feel more pleasure, because if we are in our like fight or flight response, our body doesn't necessarily want to be like, oh yeah, like let's lean in and explore this. We have to kind of have that other side of like, oh, okay. And not to say that it can't happen. It's just a little bit harder to access because your body is reacting in a different way. So when you slow your breath down, you give your body an opportunity to kind of ease and find in those moments of what's pleasurable for you. So throughout my day, I have a silent alarm that goes off in my phone to say, take 10 slow breaths. Just slow breaths. Put your phone down. Don't look at anything else. Just go inward and see, okay, maybe where's some tension in the body? Do you need to stretch your body in a different way? And then as I'm stretching my body, I'm also breathing or imagining that I'm breathing into those areas where I'm like, where's the expansion? Right? And how can I use my breath to get into that? So that's one of the like softer levels of utilizing your breath to lean into pleasure. And then if you want to start to pair it up with your body and with movement, if you want to bring your breath to be super fast as you're moving your body around, kind of like imagine when you were, or think back when you were a kid and you got this like jolt of energy and you're like, I got to get it out of my body. It's like very frantic and you're like, whoa, okay, here we are. The breath is more shallow. It is quicker. It can start to make your body feel a little bit warmer, right? So if we're thinking about it in relation to sex, when we were kind of like in the throes of it and everything's going really quickly, that's where you're going to start to feel the pleasure that way. So it's almost like letting that breath just go a little bit lower and take up a little bit more space, and seeing like, okay, where can that like frantic energy go and how can that entice you? And then if you want to take it a step further, you can start to breathe into your genitals. And by utilizing your muscles along with your breath there, it's almost like you're sending the breath straight down into it. So we have this thing called our vagus nerve, which goes into our skull and it goes all the way down into our body. When we start to kind of awaken that, you're basically telling your body, hey, it's time for me to turn on and to feel this way. So if you then start to pair up your pelvic floor muscles with your breath, I promise you, the first time I did it, I felt nothing. I felt dead. I thought I did it wrong. I was like, Kiki, this is full. You're full of shit. No. And then I was like, okay, it's a practice, right? It's a practice. So if at this rate, I was still pretty disconnected from my pleasure. So it required me to spend a lot more time than I wanted to because my body needed time to slow down. It needed time to connect inwards before I could make these demands of feeling different levels of orgasmic pleasure. But now when I teach breathgasm, it's funny because like I'll feel like a smile hitting my face as I'm talking through it because I'm like, oh my God, wait, this feels so good. Like, yes, here we are. So basically just bringing your attention and your breath into your yoni, into your penis, whatever it is that may be happening. These all can be stimulated with your breath and utilizing your pelvic floor muscles to basically allow this energy to expand.
I can relate to that when I have realized that through my self-pleasure. So the last few years, self-pleasure is a huge, big part of my life, which has also become like my brand. Taking everybody along that journey, which is very pleasurable. And I've realized at the start when I started, like I was holding my breath when I was self-pleasuring. I was holding my breath. I was like freezing up. I was in that fight flight mode when I orgasm, and it was like, ping, bing. And it was like, that was it. And then when I found yoga and I already started to opening up to connect the breath with the movements, it's only one part, then the meditation. But then I found Tantra, where I then also have that PC squeeze. So that pelvic floor squeeze, while you also have that breathing connected, and you can bring it through the whole chakras, and you open yourself up and have this full body orgasmic bliss. Same. First, I'm like, they're not real. Like, what are they on about? Like, what is that? But because it's a skill, and then if you can practice, a skill you can learn. So the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. So
Yes.
started to, okay, give it a chance, even if it's just like 5 or 10 minutes after my practice in the mornings. If I do a few squeezes with the breath, and all of a sudden I started to get like with the third or fourth goosebumps, and they went through the whole body, like shake, and I'm like, oh, geez, I'm getting one right now. I'm just like, that felt like a big tingle through my whole body. Jeez, I like that. I want more of that. And then I kept exploring. And now I'm so different now when I self pleasure. I can, even when I feel now and then, or occasionally I still do clench up a little bit, but I can feel it. I can sense it straight away. And I'm like, okay, deep breath. And then I'm back into like a relaxed state. And my orgasms are so much more intense, so much more prolonged, so much more like even before the orgasm, that pleasure wave that I'm riding before that is just mind blowing. It was just like, oh my God, like where was I years ago? Like, why did I not know about that?
Yes, definitely. Well, also when we start to breathe, and we're sending more oxygen into our body, basically what we're doing is like that oxygen gets to flow to different places, which is going to allow like your skin and your muscles to feel more sensitivity. So that's going to be heightened when you're bringing in like the sense of touch. And you're like, oh, okay. So that's how those kind of feelings can really go like through the roof of where you're like, whoa, I'm actually giving my body what it needs in order to feel those different levels of pleasure.
Yes. And what I've just experienced at the Tantra Festival was to now partner up, because I've done all of that practice now more on like self pleasure and just for myself and solo. And I think that's important to start with, so you can get comfortable and confident in how to do it. And then you can start partnering up. And I had a connection at the Tantra Festival with someone, and just the eye gazing and the breathing together and like hand on chest and feeling each other. I'm like, wow. And it was like a drug-free, alcohol-free event as well. But I was high. Like I was
Yeah.
high on my own supply through just that intimacy, that breathing, the meditations. And I was so in my body.
Yeah.
I like that was the first experience where I'm just like, this is what I want. This is like what I want more of. And with like partner play, I want that.
I mean, bless my husband. He's just very normal and like not in his world at all. And so of course he finds me who's just loves to kind of push all of the boundaries, and he's down for it, which is great. But the other night I was just like, can you just put like your heart on my pussy? Like I just need your heartbeat and I need to focus on my breath. And it was the same thing, like head to toe chills. Everything felt incredible. And I similarly also used to hold my breath when I was in solo partnered or solo or partnered pleasure. And it would just be like you said, like the orgasm would be like, boop. And then like when I start to focus on my breath, it's almost like I'm riding this endless wave of where sometimes it's like, oh my God, yes, peak. Yeah, this feels great. And then it goes down and then it's like, oh, nah, like we're going to ride this for a little bit longer and see where else does it go. And when you're connected in with somebody else that you trust and you start to kind of sync your breathing up and sync your emotions up, there's a sense of like compassion and safety that gets to happen, and tension that we all naturally carry from our lives gets to start to dissipate. Right. And I think we forget in that exhale, that is an action of letting go. It is the release of something that is no longer serving you to call in a new breath that is full and luscious. And if you have an eye contact with somebody that you have a connection with, oh my God, yes, more of that, please.
Yeah, the good thing also there was it was also with a worship ritual, a practice. Like he was actually like bowing and then kneeling in front of me and telling me what a fucking goddess I am, and I'm just like, well, now you've got me.
Okay, I actually think I would die of joy. I'm like, take me, let's go.
You're functioning, but you aren't feeling. You hold it all together. Your life, career, motherhood, relationships, and you keep pushing through. You keep managing, doing one thing and another thing, people pleasing, a life on autopilot. And underneath all of it, you ask yourself, is that really it? Is that what's life supposed to be? Your mind rarely stops. You keep overthinking. Your sleep is broken. Your digestion is off. And rest makes you feeling uncomfortable. That is your nervous system stuck in survival state. Your body has forgotten how to feel safe, how to soften, how to receive, how to feel good. And what's missing is not more effort. What's missing is pleasure, somatic pleasure. I am Patricia, an ED/DV survivor, a former nurse, mother, a pleasure explorer, and an award-winning educator in somatic pleasure. I am the founder of Pleasure Lit. My trauma-informed somatic pleasure approach blends nervous system regulation, tantra, sexuality, breathwork, yoga, meditation, identity shift, and feminine embodiment. And if this sparked something inside of you, join us within the Pleasure Lit Woman program, which is my 8-week group program, helping you from functioning to feeling radiant, regulated, and deliciously turned on. You're also invited to join us within the Pleasure Lit Circle, which is my online community membership for women, where we have got live calls, somatic practices, resources, masterclasses, and so much more. You can also explore my self-paced online courses all around pleasure and follow along Patricia's Pleasure Ed for more pleasure tips, and if you like to submit your questions. When you prefer reading, you can get my #1 bestseller book, The Pleasure Lit Way. And if you like more personalized support, book yourself in for a one-on-one coaching session. For more details and how to join it all, go to pleasurelit.com. For anyone listening who's like, oh my God, okay, now you got me. I want to give this a go. I want to try something. Is there like a simple practice that you tell like beginners or curious ones to just tip their toe into?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of utilizing your sensuality. So picking up on your senses in ways that can also kind of bring it in. So if you have never done a practice like this before, it may feel hard for you to connect in on your body. So first and foremost, no demands. Please and thank you. And secondly, I like to use either, I'm a visual person, so I really like my breasts. So I might look at them while I'm breathing, or I might bring in touch and my vision into kind of bringing in that sensation on my body. And then I'll allow, I can already feel it in my stomach. I can like a little warm tingle. And so as I start to let my breath go in nice and slow in through my nose, it's almost like I'm sending my conscious awareness with that breath all the way down into my body as I'm utilizing a sense that feels good for me. And then I like to relax my jaw because I hold a lot of tension here, and most women in vulva havers do. It gets a little tight and chunky. I'll relax it just a little bit of space between the molars, and just go, and then a big in, and utilizing touch on any part of your body that may feel good, and just see what are those sensations like as you breathe deeper, as you breathe slower. Can you feel them heighten even 1%? Right? This isn't about, I'm going to take in this breath and I'm going to have an orgasm. It's about incremental change. So just allowing a sense that you love, a slow breath, relaxing the jaw. You may even want to sigh out as you release that exhale if you're an audible person. For me, visual porn doesn't do much, but the audio of it is so good. So kind of utilizing that to kind of get it going. That's like a nice, easy way. I'd say do 10 to 20 breaths of that. See how it feels. If putting hands onto your body feels like too much, look at something beautiful. There may be a plant or a flower nearby that makes you feel great while you're looking at that and you're breathing slowly. It's about pleasure. It's not about orgasmic pleasure. It can lead to that, but you've got to start with the small potatoes first and then let it lead up into something bigger. So what I found, at least with the people that I've guided, is that they put a lot of demands upon themselves to feel a certain way rather than simply being present in the moment. So when we let ourselves slow down and truly feel what our body sensations are doing, that's what's going to guide you. Now, I could tell you, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to lead you to this, but that works for this body and it may not work for your body. So get inquisitive with 10 to 20 rounds of slow breath, utilizing one of your 5 primary senses, and just see, what does it feel like? How can you amplify it from there? And then if down the line, then you're ready, you're like, okay, I want to like get into more like pelvic floor, kind of tightening anything there. You can take in like a big, glorious, big, slow inhale, and then just squeeze your pelvic floor muscles a few times. And then again, when you're going to exhale everything out, you want to relax everything and almost feel like any pressure, tension, anything is leaving you. And then I want you to breathe in again and find that gentle little squeeze that happens there as you're calling in that new, fresh pleasure energy. And then and relaxing.
I love that tip because I've got something similar with in regards to like arousal, for example, with our pussies. So I've sometimes explained to guys, look, if you penetrate me with 2 fingers and I'm not aroused yet, you will feel a difference to put your 2 fingers in there after I'm like fully engorged and aroused. Oh, it's so different, it's more spongy and wet. And I'm just like, yeah, right. So it would feel different for you too if you then go in. So now this tip is like touch yourself when you're just like your normal doing, like normal breathing. And now by slowing down, touching yourself, essentially, you will feel a difference. And this is all that it needs to start to be like, oh, hang on, it does change something, and then kickstart that exploration journey. And I also like that you said it doesn't have to be orgasmic and pleasure, like orgasm straight away. It can be something just pleasurable to play with, and then you can bring that into the bedroom, because I find that always works better. If we are people pleaser and can't speak up in our bedroom, learn to say no outside the bedroom. Say no, stand up for your boundaries, and the more you do that, the more comfortable you will become, and then it will be easier to transfer that into the bedroom. Don't go like straight to the bedroom and do it the hard way.
Well, people always want to rush. I've worked with some men who have some erectile dysfunction, and they come to work with me and they're like, okay, well, we're going to talk about my dick and I'm going to be able to last longer, right? And I'm like, oh no, we're going to slow it right on down, and we're going to start to get inquisitive of where else are you rushing things. Right. So there's always things that it's like, no, we need to pull back and take a look at how can we slowly move forward rather than like rushing. Cause like pleasure should be luscious and slow and be in that moment. It's funny because my husband and I talk regularly where it's like, all right, we are feeling a little frisky and horny, but we don't have an hour to play. What do we do? So we're like, oh shit, we should have started earlier. Because we love the slow down sex, right? And that's not to say that cookies aren't fun also, not for my body. I had to learn that. But even when I just start to slow down, and if I'm like on the couch before we go up into our bedroom or something, I'll just start to slowly breathe. And like, I might even bring my hand on the outside of my pants and just to get that kind of sensation starting to go, where I'm like, okay, all right, let's see where this is going to go. And again, like getting your body into it. I'm somebody who could not speak up for my needs in the bedroom for a very long time. I was very much go with the flow. I'm a cool girl. I'm not a cool girl. I have so many things. And because I also have like wicked ADHD. So anything will take me out of the moment. Anything. And it is so hard to get me back on track. So like I have to be really conscious of the way that I'm moving and breathing and what am I listening to and what am I wearing, all of these things in order to be like fully ready for that. So I'm like, how can we get that engine kind of going before it's the main show? And my breath has been the easiest way for me to tap into it because I generally need to chill out. I'm tightly wound. And when I can use my breath to slow things down, that's when my body can start to realize like, oh, wow, his hand on my thigh, it actually feels really warm. And that feels really good. Maybe I want to ask him to move it to a different part of my body or more to my inner thigh. And it's just about taking those things slow, experiencing those sensations, and then seeing where it goes from there.
Yes, love that. Because for me, the difference also was I was so much in my mind, like thinking about, okay, what's for dinner? All right, let's just get that over with and like done, dusted, and I can like continue do my to-do list. But actually, when you take a breath, take a breath and step into your body space. And like you said, the sensation, oh, his hand feels nice there, but I would actually like it that way. And taking a deep breath again, and then the eye gazing again, fully present. I'm not thinking about dinner. I'm not thinking about like, fuck, how can I even heighten that even more? Like, I want to have more of that.
Yes, I love that. I'm a to-do list maker. It is my favorite thing. It makes me feel safe and comfortable. And so I had to start to change that to like, all right, what's my to-do list for sex? What's my to-do list for self-pleasure? And being like, okay, great. If I know that it's funny, I just got a bunch of toys from Love Honey, so I'm just playing with this in my lap. If I know I want to use this toy, what lube is going to go with it? What splash blanket am I going to want to have? Is there going to be another tool that I'm going to want nearby? Do I want to be in, a silky robe before getting into it, and utilizing my obsessive to-do list nature in a way that benefits me into pleasure? Because if I'm focusing on my to-do list for setting myself up for pleasure, I'm not thinking about work. And I love my job, but I can't be focusing on two to-do lists. It just doesn't work like that. So it's like utilizing the things that you know are ways that you like to function and just figuring out how do you translate that for your pleasure.
Where can people find you if they would like to work with you, would explore that further?
I am Sara Silverstein on Instagram. I imagine you will tag it somewhere. It's a long name. Sarasil.com, sarasil.com. And I work with people all over the world, virtually, in person if you're here in America land. And I've got a virtual membership where it is for women in vulva havers only, where we utilize our breath all of the time to get into our bodies and different somatic practices to help heighten the way that you get to receive and feel pleasure and joy.
Love that. I've got a couple more questions, and you just shown one of the toys that you recently received from Love Honey. I've seen like you've had like a big order, and I'm just like, where's
Okay.
my big order?
It's funny. They messaged me and I thought it was spam. So I was like, okay, it's not real. And then I was like, screw it. Let me just respond to this email and see what happens. Then my greedy ass was like, okay, here's a list of a bunch of things. Send me whatever you want, thinking they'd send me 2 things. I'm out of town last week. My neighbor messages me, you have 4 large boxes at your door. And I was like, oh my God, my neighbor is elderly. I cannot tell her that this is a bunch of sex toys. I'm going to die. Is Love Honey going to be printed on the boxes? I'm not going to make it. And so I unboxed them today and they gifted me so many amazing toys that I get to review for my membership, which is awesome.
Love that. Have you got a favorite pleasure toy?
I do. I love this. I wish I had one in here. The company is Mod. It is a simple vibrator. It's like, looks like a little cone and then goes straight up.
Mhm.
The feeling of it is incredible. So sensations are really hard for me to feel. So like when people are like, oh my God, I need my vibrator to go more. I'm like, I die on the low setting. So for me, the level of intensity on the first level, hey, thumbs up. The first level is really manageable for my body. And the battery life is incredible. It's also, I'm an aesthetic slut and it looks good. Like this is cute, but like this doesn't turn me on.
Yeah.
And the Mod one, I'm like, oh man, like the color is like a sage green. And it just makes me really happy. And it's simple. There's like 3 settings, the end.
Love
I'm a
that.
simple gal. Yeah. There are people who are like, oh, I need my Hitachi doing all of this. And I'm like, that's too much for this body. But this little Mod one, and it's cheap. It's like $40. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And it's an all female run company, which I love.
Yeah, some have like crazy app control. So I love app controlled and remote control for like fun, discrete dates. But some of the apps, like, they're wild now. I'm just like, that's a whole different section that you're gonna have to dig into.
It's too much. I'm not a tech gal. I'm really bad at it. But it's been on my list to start to play with some of those too because my husband's into it, and I'm like, all right, fine. Like we can do it.
Have you got a favorite like pleasure wear? Something could be like lingerie, could be a certain fabric, material, or fetish wear that you really like?
I have this like incredible little, what's the right word? It's kind of like a bralette. And by golly, what's the name of it? Gooseberry, I think. But it's just like this, it's made out of a silk blend and it's got this like really cute little gold clasp here. So you can kind of like undo it and like let it fly off. And I've got like juicy big titties. So it's like so fun to kind of like slowly open it up rather than like kind of taking a bra off in the back. For me, I'm not that coordinated. So being sexy requires some work for me. So for that, it's really like kind of fun and cheeky to have like boom, bam. And I love like a little flogger to play along with it too, because that sensation's really good for me. So like I'll bring that across my own body. Ugh, yum.
Nice. Love that. By the way, anyone listening, you can check out lots of toy reviews and lingerie reviews on my website at selflovepleasure.com, and you will also find lots of discount codes on there. Now, just a couple more questions. Have you got a book recommendation for us?
I have so many books next to me right now. That's really funny. Hold on. This one? This
Yeah,
one.
I get that quite a lot, the pussy one.
Also, this one.
Come as you are, yes. Good
So
one
good.
too.
And erotic blueprints, also really helpful and fun.
Yeah,
I
I
love
got that
it.
one.
It's good. Kind of really goes in depth on all of the different blueprints that are out there. And in my brain, judgmentally, I was always like, oh, my male-bodied partners would be the sexual blueprint. And if you don't know what this is, there's 5 blueprints: sensual, sexual, shapeshifter, kinky,
Energetic.
energetic, which is what my husband is. So I was like, oh, my male-bodied humans are energetic, that are going to be sexual, blah, blah, blah. And then he took it and he was like, no, I'm energetic. And I was like, How cool. And I'm a shapeshifter. So I was like, oh, wow, like now I know how to entice you more. So I think, especially if you're in a monogamous relationship, which I am, it just kind of brings in another level of play of being like, oh, wow, no, I can expand in this kind of way. Or maybe he'll be interested in this and like I'll know how to respond to him.
Yeah.
I found that to be really helpful. And just like keeping monogamous relationships fun and spicy can take some work. Right. And Emily Nagoski, who wrote the Come As You Are, just came out with a couples book called Come Together. And we've been reading that. And it's just always so helpful. Sorry, I'm a book nerd. That was a question for me.
Same. That's why I'm always asking, because usually then I'm like, if it's one that I don't know, I'm like, okay.
I love that.
And I just need a whole year to just read all the books that I've got now.
Every time we get a delivery, Ryan's like, another one? I'm like, yes, another one. We've also been reading Talk Sex by Vanessa something. Epic book for communication for couples, for humans who are like, man, I don't know how to talk about things. It has been a game changer. And I feel like I don't struggle in that realm anymore, but I read it and then I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really good question. And I'll ask my husband and he gives me a response that I wouldn't expect. And I'm like, wow, like we keep getting to expand and grow together, which is really cool. So I'm always like, yo, utilize the tools that will continue to strengthen your relationship to yourself and to people around you.
Love that. And in regards to the energetic, the blueprint types, I also find it such a great permission to actually embrace yourself, because sometimes you're like, well, why is that turning me off? Like, and then when you read about it and learn that when you are a sensual one and all of a sudden the smell turns you off or something else, it's a permission slip to say like, okay, it is that way. So how about we work on that it does smell nice in the room or something like that.
For me, it was my husband would start to initiate sex when we were like on the couch. And if a commercial comes on, first and foremost, I hate a commercial. Secondly, I will laser focus in on that. And it would not matter if he was doing every trick that he knows that I like. I would not care. I'll be like, oh my God, I hate this commercial so much. And then that's all I'm going to think about. That's it. And so I'm like, okay, we had to learn, like, you can't initiate when the telly is on. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Love that. I'm an energetic, kinky, sensual type. So I probably would be a shapeshifter, but because I'm absolutely not a sexual one, and as a shapeshifter, you've got all of them. So I think I've got 33% in these three. So yeah, basically energetic, kinky, sensual one, which makes so much sense anyway.
Yes. I just love when things affirm what I'm feeling on the inside. And the way that Jaya writes about it is just so beautiful and easy to comprehend. It doesn't make me feel like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And of course, like not everything is going to be for us, but there are so many points where I'm like, whoa, wow. I get to learn about me and I work in this realm as an educator. How cool.
Yes. Last question. What is your number one tip for the audience in regards to self-love and pleasure? And that's what we're going to leave the audience with. So thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. And my number one tip is going to have to be use your breath to slow down and feel.
I love that.
Yay.
Thank you. I would love to hear from you what has resonated the most with you from this episode. You can leave us a comment down below. And when you like this episode, make sure you follow and subscribe to the show, give it a 5-star rating, and also share it along so we can spread more pleasure into this world. You can access my free workshop at pleasurelit.com/links. Sending you lots of love and pleasure. Mwah.